tracking milestones of an incredible journey spanning 30 years. Rahman Music Sheets. Presenting AR Rahman and Shekhar Kapur, Rahman's mentor on the Western music scene.
I was wanting to pull somebody there anyway, so I looked around and I thought Rahman was probably the one that I knew that the West would accept.
There was a kind of connection between, and he would talk about me. So when he was supposed to direct one of Lloyd Webber's films, I think he talked about me and they listened to my music.
Shekhar Kapur directed Masoom and Mr. India in the 1980s. Both remain cult classics, but it was Bandit Queen that won him international recognition. The film was premiered in the Director's Fortnight section at the 1994 Cannes Film Festival. It won overwhelmingly positive reviews at the film festivals in Toronto, Montreal, Tokyo, and Edinburgh. Critics compared it with Steven Spielberg's film Schindler's List. Some called it the most merciless of movies. Shekhar Kapur was the first person AR Rahman ever called to say, "I want to do your film."
Mr. Kapur, when Rahman called you, had you already heard about him?
You can't live in India and not have heard about him, but I think I first heard of him from Mani Ratnam, who told me he found this new talent that was quite incredible. But in his very first film that was with Mani Ratnam, the whole of India heard about him. And then Mani Ratnam worked with him, Ram Gopal Verma worked with him. I didn't meet him till I got a call after I did Bandit Queen, and he called me and he said, sent me a message saying he'd just seen Bandit Queen and he'd like to meet and work together. So we met. We kept talking about working together and didn't really happen. We decided to do some films together. I then left for Hollywood and went away. He stayed back in India. And then finally, when I got involved with Bombay Dreams with Lloyd Webber, I suggested to Lloyd Webber that there's this composer in India that I thought was probably could become really international.
I was such a big fan of his movie Bandit Queen, and so we were just talking many things, but we also worked on a soundtrack called Tararam, but it never worked out because by then he had got his big break for Elizabeth. So he had gone to London and was doing this stuff. But somewhere I think there was a kind of connection between, and he would talk about me. So when he was supposed to direct one of Lloyd Webber's films, I think he talked about me and they listened to my music.
And so then I started to put them together, and Rahman was quite unwilling actually to go to the West first. I think he wasn't sure that they would accept him. He wasn't sure that in going to the West he would not drop his fan base. Would his fan base in India reject him and then goes to another place? I'm a bit of an adventurer, so someone managed to convince him to come, and then he came, and the rest is history. I had a special reason to bring him there. I was a bit lonely. After Elizabeth, I was saying, who else is going to come here from India? And nobody else seemed to want to come. I used to tell my friends, try it. And so I was wanting to pull somebody there anyway. So I looked around and I thought Rahman was probably the one that I knew that the West would accept.
What was it about Rahman's music that made you so confident that the West was going to accept him?
Because every friend, I recognize the fact that he has an international appeal just by listening to him. And I've lived outside India for about 12, 13 years. It doesn't mean I'm an expert on music, but I do remember I had a premiere of Elizabeth in Mumbai. And after that, we had a party. And I remember Cate Blanchett being there. And after the party, everybody was dancing. And somebody put on Rahman's music. It was Taal. And Cate coming to me and saying, Shekhar, this music is incredible. It's stunning. Who is this composer? It was actually Rahman. When I was shooting a film with Heath Ledger called Four Feathers, and in the makeup room, makeup room is always a place of sanctity for an actor. The makeup van in the middle of the desert. They have to turn up at 4 or 5 in the morning. And so they'd normally turn on the music and sit there quietly thinking about how to get into character while the makeup was being done. And he would always listen to a song. And one day I was playing something, and he suddenly said, "You know, Shekhar, that's the song. That's the score music that I used to hear every day to calm myself down and to get into character." And it was the theme song from Bombay. Where did he pick it up from? I said, "Where did you get it?" He said, "It's on Buddha Bar. You know, there's this Buddha Bar compositions." And he said, "It's a Buddha Bar composition." And I said, "No, it's not. It's from one of my best friends, and it's it's an Indian film called Bombay, and it's the background score to that." So I called Rahman and I said, "Did you know that your composition is on Buddha Bar?" He said, "Yeah, it's everywhere." So I said, "Are you aware? Do you own the copyright?" He said, "No, I don't know where it goes and how it goes." But there was a score of Bombay on that. Everybody would react to his music. And so it's been an experience with me all the time because I've been such a fan of his music. So I would make other people listen to it. Anywhere in the world, when I made people listen to his music, there would be an instant reaction, an instant attraction to that music. So I knew that if he came to the West, much more than he did himself, I had probably a lot more faith in him and his music than he did himself.
There are many Indian musicians who made their mark globally. What is so special about Rahman that he's not niche like others?
So what he managed to do was fuse the idea of composition, and in fact, fuse the idea of Raagas, some very fundamental notes of Indian Raagas, and fuse them with the kind of production, modern virtual sounds, computerized sounds, productions, and fuse them with those traditional ideas of composition. He has the ability to come into what we call the pop culture. It's the same thing, in film. If you can there are Indian films, people say Indian films don't do well. They do well. Satyajit Ray's films, he got, a lifetime Oscar. If you look at any critic's view, Satyajit Ray's will be top 10 filmmakers of the world in anything, whether it's Western or Indian. But then there's the pop culture, where the films do 200, 300, 400 billion dollar business. Same thing with music. What Rahman has managed to do above that is to get into and become part of that pop culture. And he knows how to do that. And he knows how to take his music and make it into pop culture. That even to say a completely Western actor called Heath Ledger, it looked like his music. He was, I would say he's a musical genius.
Shekhar Kapur describes you as someone who brings together Indian musical sensibilities and Western technology. Do you agree?
I don't even know what my sensibility is. And it changes according to what the necessity is sometimes. But what I want is to connect music to the heart. And whenever you hear something, you should feel that. And sometimes in the process of making music, you lose it. And I'm trying to cling on to that as much as possible. So it's not about complexities and technology, it's about what impact it creates in your heart. And otherwise it's just music and it's nothing.
Rahman considers you as his mentor. How do you react to that?
He's just been kind. I'm not his mentor at all. I just happened to feel lonely in England and in the West and wanted to drag somebody, and I couldn't think of a better person to bring along. And since then, it's all been on his own.
Shekhar Kapur and Rahman finally worked together in 2007 on the film Elizabeth: The Golden Age. The film had two music composers, AR Rahman and Craig Armstrong. What was so special about the film's music? Shekhar Kapur shares those nuances in our next episode. Stay with us. Rahman Music Sheets will continue to track his incredible journey to superstardom, connecting you with his creative partners, also engaging with musicians he inspired. If you have reinterpreted or recreated Rahman's music, share your videos. If selected, you will get featured on Rahman Music Sheets. To submit your videos, log on to our website o2-india.com.